Welcome back, PetaPixel viewers. It is Chris Nichols here, and look at me. I've got a Ricoh GR III HDF. This is the new version that trades an ND filter for a diffusion filter. We're going to talk about the ramifications of that to your photography, and also a little bit of a recap on this much-loved camera. So today's not going to be a full review per se, because I mean the Ricoh GR III has been out for a long time, but in case you don't know much about it, I'm going to give you a little bit of a recap here. So the GR series, in my opinion, are beautiful cameras when you have them in hand. They're based off of a 35mm point and shoot design that had a fixed 28mm lens where the film just barely fit in the grip. And as a young photographer, I love the design of the GR cameras. I thought they were just gorgeous, svelte, and compact. Okay, so the Ricoh GR III may look the same as the original GR film camera, but this does not shoot film. It is indeed a digital camera, but it's still kind of a blast from the past because frankly, the 24 megapixel APS-C sensor in here, it's been around for a long time. Still, it delivers nice detail, and in keeping with the 28mm field of view that the original camera gave us, the GR III has an 18.3mm f2.8 lens, which translates to a 28mm full frame equivalent field of view. You can also get the GR IIIx even in the HDF version, and that gives us a 40mm equivalent full frame field of view. So you got a couple choices, and neither of them are 35mm. That makes me really happy. The 28mm is still my personal choice. I like this wide angle for a pocket camera, a street cam. I can always crop it a little bit tighter if I want an even tighter field of view. Now the lens is very sharp. You do get a lot of detail out of them. I do find the bokeh though not that pretty. It's kind of frenetic and distracting in the background, as you can see here, but overall it's a nice optic for what it does. So I've had this adorable little camera for a little while now, and I've had a chance to shoot it not only here back home, but on our travels abroad. So we got a good spectrum of different photos to look at. So the Ricoh GR III has been around for a long time. I mean, it hasn't really been updated in many, many years, but it did improve quite a bit over the GR II. You got 24 megapixel sensor, and you got built-in IIIx, a 3-axis stabilizer, which is good for hand holding shots down to about 10th or 15th of a second. This all culminates to make the Ricoh GR III an insanely popular street camera, not only because it's so pocketable and compact. I mean, that's way smaller than a Fujifilm X100, but just other nice features for shooting on the street, like really quick startup time. And so there is a lot to like on this little camera. I mean, I love that we've got nice command dials on it, we've got good manual controls, and overall the camera is very popular because of that. But there are still some things that I would really like to see change. I think we're ripe now for a GR IV. It's about time because, for example, no EVF. I mean, I get it, we're trying to keep the camera small. That might be just a physical limitation, but the back panel hasn't been updated in a long time, and it doesn't tilt at all. Also, the camera's autofocus. It is a phase detect system, but unfortunately, I still find the autofocus to be quite slow. It has a hard time in low light, and continuous tracking really doesn't work at all. So what a lot of people like to use is Ricoh's snap focus feature. This is where you can preset a distance in half-meter increments. When you use snap focus, the camera will simply default to that distance and fire right away without delay. That could be really nice for on-the-street grab shots, but when you want to get absolute accuracy, you got to be a little bit patient with this camera. Okay, so the Ricoh GR III HDF is starting to sound like every other Ricoh GR III. Are there any meaningful updates that are new on this particular model? Well, yes, a little bit. Let's get into the first one. This does have a new autofocusing mode. It's called zone autofocus, and it's selectable. Basically, it just gives you a zone area, and you can move it around with the touch screen. I mean, again, this is something we've seen on many other camera brands many, many times before. I wouldn't call it revolutionary. So you now get 3 customizable white balance modes. You can customize them to your heart's content. So you can pick either auto or one of the preset starting points, and then you can tweak things like color balance, tone, green, magenta, warm, amber. You can do all that kind of stuff. But again, this is not something that everybody's gonna go crazy about. I mean, we've seen these in other cameras before. I generally tend to still just stick to auto white balance or using one of the already fixed presets, and you can still customize each of those individually. Also, I think it's important to note that the zone autofocusing and the 3 custom white balances are coming to all the Ricoh GR IIIs anyways through firmware updates, so it's not really unique to this. So what do we have that's unique to this camera? It's the shutter button. So Ricoh calls this silver. I don't know, it looks dark gray to me, but it's not the matte black that it used to be. It is now silver. And what else is returned? Well, we still have the fairly dismal video performance that we've seen on the older Ricohs. I mean, 1080p, 60 frames per second, that's where it's maxing out, and the quality's not even that sharp there. Okay, but that's not why you're buying this camera. We do also have the adorable built-in memory, 2 gigabytes. I mean, I guess if you forget memory card at home, you could shoot 40 raw pictures if you had to. It's better than nothing, but it's still not great. Okay, so let's talk about the real actual big upgrade here on the Ricoh GR III HDF, and that is Ricoh putting in their new diffusion filter instead of the two-stop ND filter that you normally find on the GR III series of cameras. Okay, so let's actually look at some results now with the HDF filter so you can see if you'll even like it or not. Diffusion filters give a very soft, dreamy look to images, and they were very popular in photography when I was a kid, and of course all that stuff is coming back into fashion now. It was really popular for portrait photography, wedding shots, and garden pictures, and I went out and did some garden shots here, and I do like the look. I mean, with a sunny day, you actually get this soft haze over everything, colors kind of pop, you get softer pastel tones as well, and then, you know, highlights kind of blow it a little bit. You just get this kind of dreamy effect, which can be nice. I did always use it for some indoor shots, and you can see here how specular highlights get just this glow, this sort of halo around them, and that can be really cool for indoor shots or night photography scenes you might like. So what the two-stop ND filter really did actually, in a creative sense, was let you shoot the original GR3 at f2.8 on bright sunny days. Because the shutter speed maxes out at 1/2500th of a second, it's very easy to overexpose if you've got really bright conditions, and that two-stop ND fixed that. But in a lot of situations, especially on a day like today, that's a non-issue, and therefore that ND filter largely goes unused. I almost never used it. And honestly, if I was going to do things like landscape where I want to do much longer exposures, then like this shot that I did here, I'm going with the adapter and much stronger ND filters anyways. Really, in the end, either way, if I have the original GR3, I could use an adapter with a diffusion filter. Or if I have the HDF and I need more ND, I could use an adapter with ND. So it really just depends what feature you think you're going to use more often, what'll be more convenient just have at your fingertips. Okay, so I don't have an 80s style wedding model to shoot, but I do have hard-faced, craggy Jordan to take a picture of. He's got very strong, manly, rough features. And so what I'm going to do is take one shot here with the HDF filter to see what kind of result I get. But also, you can do some of this work in post. I want to talk about interesting software that I can use to do that. Okay guys, so we're in the studio now, and you know, I mean, diffusion filters are great to kind of get rid of some of the lines and wrinkles and soften the overall skin tone, but Jordan here is going to need a lot more work. So I'm going to use a new product, Retouch for Me's Photoshop Panel. This is an AI-based, cloud-based plugin for Adobe Photoshop, and it gives me a lot of professional-grade retouching tools at my fingertips. So the beautiful thing about this software is if I've got it on my laptop and I'm on the go, but I've got internet access, I can have access to the powerful cloud-based editing tools. And if I don't, I can still use the on-device tools, which are also very effective. And of course, these all edit in the way that professional retouchers would, so the results look very natural. Okay, so for Jordan's portrait here, I'm just going to turn on some of the tools like the heal tool to fix up some of the blemishes. I'm also going to use things like the brightening of the eyes tool. And what I love about this is they all set up as individual layers. I can turn them on and off, see the effect, get rid of it if I don't like it. So it's a very powerful way to edit my shots here. So definitely check out Retouch for Me's Photoshop Panel plugin using its powerful AI-based and cloud-based technology. And there's actually some really good deals right now. So first off, the first 20 retouches are free. This lets you try out their plugin, see if it works for your workflow. And if you like it, PetaPixel viewers get a huge discount. Click the link in the description below and you will save 30% off on your Retouch for Me Panel plugin. Now, let's talk more about the GR3, get back to which version you should buy. You have lots of choices here. It's not really like a groundbreaking decision, but to be fair, for my money, I would probably go with the new HDF version because the ND filter to me really just seems like a stopgap for a deficiency in their shutter speed. Whereas this HDF does give me a creative application, and I actually found myself really enjoying using it. Using just one quick touch customized button, I'm turning it on and off and seeing the result that I'm getting. So look, I had a lot of fun with the Ricoh GR III HDF, and it does everything that the GR3 is so good at. I mean, this is a perfect pocket-sized camera that I could go traveling with on my journeys, almost forget I even have it. It's just really convenient to pull out, and it does take beautiful images. As far as this now having a diffusion filter, I mean, that was fun to experiment with. I feel like I probably push myself more because I'm reviewing the camera. Would I actually do that a lot when I'm just, you know, using the camera for my own personal use? Maybe, maybe not. You know, rain-lit streets in New York City would be awesome and stuff, but for day-to-day shooting, I probably wouldn't touch it, in which case maybe the two-stop ND filter would be more useful when I want to shoot on bright sunny days. Either way though, I hope that this video helps you guys decide which version would be better for you, the the original GR3 or 3X, or get the new 3 or 3X HDF version. Really, in the end, all it makes me feel like is I kind of want to see a GR4 now. I think it's time to get a serious update on this fantastic platform. Anyways, guys, thanks for joining us. Leave your comments below. Let us know what you think about this camera, which version you think would be better for you, and check out the podcast. It's PetaPixel Podcast on all your favorite podcasting apps, or you can watch it on this exact same channel. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you soon with more on PetaPixel.